as I've said before, it was almost like I was writing and like a higher self was kind of giving me the wisdom and the strength I needed. So
flipping through the pages of my old journals, with every turn another memory.
Hello, and welcome to the 72nd episode of Journaling Through the Years. I am Leah Liz, and this is a series on this channel wherein I read from one of my journals that I've been writing in since I was able to hold a pen or a pencil. I have so many. I have like 3 or 4 different boxes, so we'll be doing this for a while. We're still in high school. We've kind of gone back a little. I think we were like done with this, so we went a little ahead, and then I found some more in this genre. This was between sophomore to junior year in high school, and I was writing a lot because I was going through my first depression, my first break with depression, with real depression. And so suicide ideation was in there. As we've been reading, content warning. If you need to take a pause on these, I totally understand, but I'm putting it out there. If you have an issue with that, that's what we're kind of touching on in these entries. And it was a way for me to pour out my heart and to make sense of what I was going through and try to, as I've said before, it was almost like I was writing and like a higher self was kind of giving me the wisdom and the strength I needed. So I've been having a really good morning. It's Saturday here. Yesterday it was incredibly smoky, and we've been really fortunate this year that we haven't had a lot of like concerns with fire in my region. Now up and down the west coast there are so many fires. It's just like 1 hour, like somebody showed a map on social media and there was just like clusters all the way down, like it was just like one big fire. So we're fortunate that where I'm living, it's been a relatively cool summer. We had the last couple days, like the last Monday through Wednesday were the hottest we've had, and it was about 108, I think 110 in some areas locally. Which is nothing compared to other places in the country and the world, like Phoenix, Arizona was so hot that people couldn't walk on the sidewalk. They were getting like 3rd-degree burns from that. Climate change is real. And so we've been fortunate, but yesterday and Thursday, a fire that is, I would say, a couple hours north of where I live. The smoke got so thick in our area that it was unsafe to be in. I mean, it was so toxic that everybody's wearing masks and 95s. But today the wind has shifted a little, and it's blue skies, at least where I live. And so I was able to sit outside and have my coffee and read some books. I'm reading a book by Uta Hagen, who is an acting teacher from way back. And so I've been learning about her style of teaching acting and her thoughts on that, as well as others that I'm researching online. And it's for my course, Acting for Everyone, that I'm prepping and researching for. And then on that, I've also been reading about different life models or art models throughout history that were models of some of the famous painters like Manet, Renoir. I'm reading one about Renoir's model, Susan Valadan. So it's been interesting because I also have a course that I'm planning and prepping and researching for called How to Be a Life Model. I've been a life model since 2014, and I've only just now embraced it as this is my career, at least right now. I think that a lot of times we go through different periods of time where we're, especially in this day and age, where the economy can be so shaky that people in my age and younger don't stick. It's not feasible to have one career until you retire. And so I have many facets. I'm still an actor. I still do that. But earlier I was a teacher in my 20s and early 30s. I did different kind of facets of childcare. And And then I slowly was moving away and got into this art modeling, which I'd always wanted to try. And I always wanted to see if I could make it like actual viable, that I really enjoyed it. And I've been doing it for the colleges. And so after about 9 years, I've started thinking about what I do, how I prepare, how I am a model, how I make it work for me, and how I could teach it to others. What are some ways that people could do what I'm doing in a way that's healthy? Because it's harder than it looks. Getting into it, holding the pose, there's a lot that goes into it. So I designed this course. Let's see what else. And so I've been researching a lot about that. Okay, the business aspect, of course, we have the merchandise. Jesus Loves Queer. Jesus Loves Queer. Recovery equals sexy. And the Time Keys fan fiction, such as the Time Keys band shirt that was worn by some of the characters in Heartsick and Homesick. You might have seen the tank tops. Well, I've got similar merch on Bonfire. And then also the Doctor, the first Doctor, our first Doctor. Oh, there's an image of him that I have available. So you'll see that, and you'll see the links below, as well as the some of the charities, the organizations that we're supporting through these merch, such as the Trevor Project and NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness. If you want to support us, we've got some upcoming projects that we would really love some financing for. There is the Patreon, www.patreon, patreon.com/CafeGirl Thriving Artists, and you get access to, early release of content, a Facebook group. I do have a Discord channel, but I don't have Discord, and I was really confused, so I need to get back into that and try to figure it out, because I guess Discord is pretty popular, but it was really confusing, so I'll try to do that. And there's lots of other, you get a shout out when you join. There's a lot of things. Check it out. We have the website that talks more about the services we offer, so go check that out, www.cafegirlproductionsinc.com. It's in the former name. It's just more feasible and financial to keep it there for at least another year. I'll be able to change it later. So all those links are in the About section, the description below, so you can check them out on your leisure. So let's begin without further ado. Okay, so this is from July 8th, 1995. I take a sip of my smoothie. I gotta point this out, I used kale and chard in my smoothie today from my own garden. That's awesome. Okay. In my mind's inner eye, I see a heart, cracked at first, then disregarded, because pieces won't come together anymore. Another heart. This one is complete, yet it shatters right before my eyes. Is this my destiny? Am I to live a life of shattered hearts and broken promises? Dreams gone forever in the remaining dust of the faraway glory? I hope not for it. I shall think I will go slowly out of my mind. Could my life possibly end with a shattered, lonely heart? Have all my dreams and hopes vanished in one moment time? What am I to do? Slowly, slowly now, I start to pick up the pieces of my shattered glass heart, of a daisy with petals pulled out at a time, to the tune of He Loves Me Not. It landed on He loves me, yet he didn't come. Perhaps there is another handsome prince who loves me so, yet I let him suffer while I try to catch this unrequited love. I let him suffer. The love which blows itself my way now and then, suddenly vanishing, leaving everything still and motionless, waiting for another burst of wind to blow over me with its still, soft, gentle breeze of love. Waiting, waiting, waiting. Is it possible that I could wait like this forever? Okay, so first thoughts that I had is that I was ripe, even though I would become a Christian. So I was about 16 here, 17, and I wouldn't become a Christian until officially till I was about 23. So several years away from that. But the theme of Christianity, specifically conservative or Fundie-Christianity tied to the purity culture, was that every time you had sex, and then even as they got further into it, even if you kissed a guy before you were married, don't kiss until your wedding day kind of thing. And that seems so romantic. But every time you did that, you gave a piece of your heart away. And so as I'm writing this and I'm in this shattered, broken, depressed place, this wouldn't get healed. And so I would continue to have this sort of depression, this brokenness upon me for those 5 years. And I think that left me ripe for that element of purity culture. That even if I didn't remember this 5 years later, like on the surface, it was still in the unconscious, the sense that I was damaged and I was broken. And that I was looking outwardly for someone to come and heal me and put my heart back together again. And I was told by the purity culture, eventually when I got there, that every time I gave my body, my heart, or my body sexually, or even just kissing to another person, that was a piece that was taken away from me that was irreparable, and away from Jesus, and then away from my future husband. And that was my only goal, my only purpose was to be a wife and mother in that kind of theme. And so I was ripe for that. Now, what I believe now is that this is a person that was heartbroken and depressed and was feeling unlovable and was feeling hurt and needed just a little support in healing. And what I've discovered now, after all these years and numerous trips to therapy and recovery later, different forms of therapy, is that every time you give a heart to someone, whether you're sexually with them or not, your heart expands. And if that relationship doesn't work, I've learned from them that it heals and it gets bigger. And I still have love for that person. Even those that have abused me, I don't want them in my life. But I'm grateful for the lesson that I've learned from them. And so I can send that back and say thank you. Even if at the same time I'm like, ugh, you user, horrible abuser person. But it's still there. And so, but I didn't know that at the time. And so I would eventually, I think, be taken advantage from because of all this years of not being able to heal or express or really feel loved within and without. I think that what I'm learning is that as being young, 16, 17, and probably even younger, and getting hurt so hard and not feeling some kind of unconditional support outwardly, I was a child. I needed that sense of guidance and that support system that I wasn't getting. And so as a child, as a teenager, it was okay to sort of feel that sense of hurt, to want to find it elsewhere. I mean, I was looking in places that weren't helpful, like men or boys that couldn't give it back to me for whatever reason, whether they were just bad seeds or they were just boys, teenage boys, and not able to really do that. They needed it for themselves. But there were also elements, good friends, that I couldn't see at the time. And that through all the years of recovery and faithfulness with these friends, I've been able to now see that I'm worthy of love, so that love is coming from within me. So what else? There's a lot of really cool imagery in here that I really like as a writer. that my heart is shattered glass heart. It goes along kind of with that a sense of like the purity culture. That's kind of some themes that they would use later on about your heart breaking irreparably, or even a daisy, a flower being ripped out. Like that was a theme. And so I think that since I was writing about this, and I've always been such a writer and had this, you know, taken courses on it and had this brain of, you know, finding metaphor and simile in my everyday life, I think that that was another way that I was ripe. But on its own, I love the idea of the daisies being torn. You know, he loves me not, and he landed on he loves me. I like the idea, and this is another way that I might have been ripe for Christianity. The idea of the handsome prince that loves me, yet I let him suffer. Who. And then they would say, the Christians later on would say, the Fundies would say that was Jesus, and Jesus was waiting patiently, and it was up to me to open the door to let him in, and I was breaking his heart every time whatever. But I think I see now that, first of all, that could have been my friends that loved me, and I was able to love them back or see that they loved me. And then also the sense of maybe that handsome prince, in a sense, was me. I was devaluing, allowing myself to be devalued, and then devaluing myself and not finding myself worthy of loving myself. And so I was letting myself suffer while I was chasing after someone else to come and heal me. And in the same time, there was this other sense of looking outward, whether it was hopeful that there was this unrequited person just like loving me and suffering. And maybe glorifying in the fact that I was making him suffer as much as I was suffering. Because I think I know who was talking about this. I think I had a friend from high school, a male friend, that was, I considered him one of my high school best friends. And we would go to, I was going to say we went to prom together, but we did a lot of school dances where I was with my boyfriend and he was with his girlfriend. Or we went on or we would have double dates where we would like watch movies together with his girlfriend and my boyfriend kind of thing. But before that all happened, before he got together with his girlfriend, he really liked me, and he always kind of felt like he had unrequited feelings for me. So I think I was referencing him. Yeah. This unrequited love which blows itself my way. So I think, but ultimately it was a sense of looking out and not being able to find that love within myself. And I think I really like the idea that the handsome prince that loves me and I'm not able to see that love was the sense of the love that I could find inward for myself, and that I was not taking the time to get to know myself, to fall in love with myself, to cherish my hobbies, the things I love to do, because I was so busy wanting it from outside. And the thing is, when you don't do that, when you do find someone that you're interested in, whether romantically or platonically, there's not a lot you can offer. I would find myself finding kind of these feelings for another, and then when I would, other than sexual or the excitement of the new love, when it would come to a point where like they would just want to talk, I wouldn't know how to do that. I wouldn't know. Part of it was I didn't know how. I was afraid to be intimate in a sense that was just talking. And this goes for friends and lovers, because I'd been so hurt and I hadn't taken that time. Instead of taking the time to heal and feel that I could heal, I had just busied myself with externals. And so I didn't know how to heal and take care of myself and look within. And I think it goes back to that sense that the handsome prince is me, and that I was not letting myself sit with that person and get to know that person. I was letting them suffer. I was letting myself suffer in the pursuit of externals to heal me, like the Band-Aid over the loose Band-Aid over the pain. And I think that is to be another way that Fundie-Christianity could get in there. But I don't want to harp on Fundie-Christianity that I was a person that was right for it in a way, because first of all, the themes of any kind of spirituality, I think that spirituality and religion and the vastness of it has been able to flourish in so many different forms, and not just Christianity, but all of it out there, because there are some truths to our humanity that we can find and make meaning. And if you look at it in a figurative way of these texts, they're similar to what I'm writing here. This idea of finding wholeness and finding love. And I think ultimately, when you find that connection to a spirituality, it's the goal is to allow it to sort of come within you so that you can love yourself and find that within yourself. But I really want to connect to that theme that I was ignoring my own self, ignoring the self that loved me, and that love that I was seeking outward was always here. It's in within. It's like that line that I just got from The Wizard of Oz, where Dorothy said, what she learned was, if I ever go looking for my heart's desire again, and I don't find it in my own backyard, I never really lost it to begin with. And I think I always found that to be a really strange line. If I ever go looking for my heart's desire again, I won't look any deeper than my... If I ever go looking for my heart's desire again, I won't look any further than my own backyard. Because if it isn't there, I never really lost it to begin with. And I think I finally got that line. It was always seeming like a very strange line. Like, what? But not looking further than within. Look within first for that love you seek. Find that stability and security within from your own worthiness, your own knowing that you're worthy, knowing yourself, knowing you're loving yourself. And then from there you can go outward. But first find it within. And it's always there, even if you can't see it. So with that, I'm going to say, you matter, your life matters, you are loved, you are worthy of love. And always remember to love your thrive and find your sunshine. Bye.